Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party's grip on the city of Toronto is about to be tested in the summer in a new by-election taking place on June 24th for the riding of Toronto-St. Paul. The longtime Liberal MP Carolyn Bennett is stepping down, and this riding that hasn't gone blue in probably a few decades is about to have its support tested in an area that is going to be very telling on how well Justin Trudeau is going to be able to run in the 2025 election. In fact, I think if the Liberals lose this seat by a big enough margin, there's going to be a big media push to try and get Justin Trudeau to step down as the Liberal Party leader. If you somehow lose Toronto St. Paul to the Conservatives, you're effectively dead as a Liberal Party politician. I'm not even sure if Michael Ignatieff lost this seat back in 2011. And if Justin Trudeau loses it, that's really, really bad. We've seen by-elections before this June 24th date. We had Durham back on, I think, March 4th, where the Conservatives did really well. Not only did they gain 11 percentage points of the vote, but both the Liberals and the NDP lost support simply because it's not just that people don't like Justin Trudeau, people don't like the left. Canadians don't want any leftist parties in power anymore in the majority of the country, and they want to elect strong conservative candidates like Jamil Javani. And I make that delineation by saying strong conservative candidates because the previous MP in Durham, Aaron O'Toole, was a complete weakling and effectively was a liberal. Jamil Javani was so strong that after he got elected in the by-election, the first thing he did was went after Doug Ford and Stephen Lecce in Ontario for being phonies and not actually pushing forward on the parental rights legislation that they had promised people. But for some context on this by-election in Toronto, St. Paul, this is where the riding is located. It is right in the downtown of the city. I guess the downtown is closer to the river, but you get my point. It's in the heart of the city right here. This is a riding that's going to be quite representative of how a lot of other ridings in the city of Toronto could potentially go. And right now, based on the national polling and polling within Ontario and the city of Toronto, websites like 338 that do projections for races like this actually show there being a decent chance for the Conservatives to win. They have the Conservatives with an 18% chance to win, and they're projecting that the Liberals will get 39% and the Conservatives will get 34%. That's obviously an average rating. That means that the Conservatives could do a little bit worse, could do a bit better. Same thing with the Liberals. But what you have to know about this race, too, is that when they're projecting the Liberals at 39%, that is utterly pathetic. In the 21 election, Carolyn Bennett got 48% of the vote. The election before that, 51%. The election before that, I believe 53%, and the one before that was 55%. This is a riding where it was never in doubt that the Liberals were going to win. A lot of Liberal ridings tend to be ridings where they only win it with like 40% of the vote, 41% of the vote. A Liberal riding where they win 55+% of the vote, that is like a very seldomly seen safe Liberal seat. A lot of Liberal seats around the country, and it's a bit of an odd metric. A lot of Liberal seats are seats where the NDP and the Conservatives also do well. And so the Liberals tend to win 43% of the vote, and then the rest of it is kind of evenly divided between the Conservatives and the NDP, the PPC, and the Greens. The Liberals win very marginal elections, where the Conservatives, when they win a seat, it tends to be like 70% of the vote, 65% of the vote, like you should see here with Jamil Javani, 57% of the vote. That's a typical conservative suburban seat. This seat in downtown Toronto might have to be won by the Liberals with less than 40% of the vote, might I remind you. And it's just not going well for the Liberals. One, I just want to quickly highlight this photo of the candidate for the Liberals, Leslie Church, probably a nice woman, just taking a photo with Anita Anand. And what I want to point out to you here is something that you probably can't even see. Look at the Leslie Church sign there in the background, any one of them. Do you see that really tiny little bit of text along the border of the top of the signs? That says Team Trudeau. The Team Trudeau on some of their 2019 signs used to be this big piece of the sign that it is, whatever, Yara Sachs, Team Trudeau. It's Carolyn Bennett, Team Trudeau. And now it's now it's Leslie Church, and it says Team Trudeau. It's like very subtle because even in Toronto, Trudeau is not a good brand to be associated with. Maybe in like downtown Montreal, you want to be associated with Justin Trudeau because he gives out so many benefits towards Quebec and specifically the metropolitan Montreal area. But in Toronto, no, you got to de emphasize how much you're associated with Justin Trudeau in a city that is considered a default progressive area. And then they're doing a lot of sort of ballyhooing that, oh, you better reelect us because of all the great things we're doing. And literally every single thing they list is just a lie, not even up to interpretation, just a lie. Like, I'm proud to be part of the Liberal team that has delivered $10 a day childcare. No, it hasn't. There's a lot of daycare centers not willing to accept this new stupid program, and they're even shutting down because it's a foolish government scheme that seeks to give basically below profitability revenues to daycares that take part in the program. So if you're a daycare that operates in a downtown city center where your infrastructure costs a lot of money, $10 a day childcare programs, it's not actually $10, but the user pays 10 and then the government supplements it. The supplement does not actually like match the costs of many of these daycare centers that don't have extremely cheap infrastructure. There's help seniors access dental care. Entire provinces, there's less than 1% of dentists willing to take part in the dental care program. It's going to be a massive flop. They're going to roll out every single positive anecdote that comes from the dental care program in the next couple months. Past that, there's not going to be that much that comes from it. And then we see lift kids out of poverty. Food bank use is up. We have record high food bank demand. No. Child poverty is not down. I hate that stupid lie where because more kids have smartphones than ever, that means child poverty is down. They'll use some fringe dumb metric. Oh, there's hygiene products in more schools, bathrooms. That means child poverty is down. Like that, this is actually what they use as metrics. It's these stupid fringe material things that are provided by the government that equals no child poverty. Even if the child's family is literally in poverty, you can just cross them off the poverty ledger through these stupid backdoor metrics in order to pretend that everything's actually getting much better. But the perfect image that has come out of Leslie Church's Toronto St. Paul by-election campaign is this one. I think it is the spitting image of what Canada has become under Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's lack of leadership. It is a homeless person sleeping in front of Leslie Church's campaign headquarters, where in Toronto you cannot find cheap housing, and so people are now having to sleep out in front of the Liberal headquarters, a testament to the housing crisis, to the drug crisis, and to the spike in crime in all of our major cities. I think if the Conservatives wanted to win this race, they should be running that as a campaign ad all over social media, that this is what Canada has become. The Liberal Party's astroturfed headquarters, where they have all their signs everywhere, and then you have a homeless person suffering on the street right out front without somebody helping them. What a time to be in Canada. But one thing I just quickly want to highlight right now is that although the Conservatives are doing well in this riding, considering what they used to do, again, 18% chance of winning, if you live in the city of Toronto, you have to pitch in. Pitch into the campaign, help lit trap, help door knock, help do calling. If you're watching this video and you have any time on your hands, I will be linking the Toronto St. Paul Canvas sign up here. I want you guys to sign up to help canvass if you can in Toronto. I'm not being paid by the Conservative Party to promote anything. I just want this riding to flip blue. So if you have time, if you're in Toronto, either donate to the campaign, go and volunteer for them, phone call for them, lit drop for them, or even just share their stuff on social media. Because if we can flip this riding blue, you can flip any Toronto riding blue. Like, not quite that hyperbolic, but you know what I mean. Half of the ridings in Toronto are in play if this riding can be flipped. This riding, too, is going to be a test of how much the anti-Semitism of the Liberal Party has affected Jewish voters in Toronto. This riding is 15% Jewish voters. That's a demographic that probably just a few years ago, probably 70-80% of them voted Liberal. I think that it could flip, where about 60 to 80% of them might be voting Conservative because of just how rampant anti-Semitic violence, mass illegal protests occupying public land has become, that a lot of these people are going to flip. So if this riding can flip, a lot of other ridings can flip. So make sure you go and help them out. Anyways, That should be it for me today, guys. Again, as you guys know, I'm running for the Conservative Party nomination in my riding of Calgary Signal Hill. If you live on the west side of Calgary in the Signal Hill riding and you're a Conservative Party member, make sure to mark me number 1 on your ballot, mark Michael Kim number 2, and I will probably come up with a full list of what I would fill out a ballot or how I would fill out a ballot for this area. And if you don't live in this riding, if you want to donate to my legal fund, that's also great. I have a Give, Send, Go link in the description below if you guys want to help us with the legal costs we've incurred from frivolous defamation suits from developers who can't actually provide any evidence for their defamation claims, yet they are still pushing forward these cases after more than 2.5 years just trying to financially exhaust us. Thank you all for who have donated. It's been extremely helpful and made sure I didn't take on massive amounts of credit card debt trying to pay for all my fees. So yeah, that's it for me. I'll be back with another video later on.